were talking about optimizing time and space. I love that as a distinction and just to kind of
Yeah.
give you like makes it clear for everybody. As much as you're happy sharing, how did you end up optimizing time? If we take time first.
Um, I think this point it was a full year process. Like, I mean, it's always a ongoing process, right? You always need to change also. Like, don't be afraid of changing few things if you see there is no results. And also, I think to optimize time and space, you need to be creative. You, but also to see good. I mean, not good. To see like truthful results. You need to give time to your process to see actually and not like rush the conclusion and say after 1 week, oh, this was shit or this was good, right? You need to give it a try for at least I would say like a few months. Um, but for time, I think for me it was more about on a weekly basis than on a daily basis. It's just like often we speak as a staff. I mean, formal or informal. I think this year I learned more about how to make things formal versus informal, and how to have like important reports and important like I would say. I mean, just the balance of writing things down and to have like a good way of keeping track of things, but at the same time not doing it too much because otherwise you're losing yourself on the way and there's too much information and also you're burning yourself for not not much results. So it was about this mainly, and yeah, more on a weekly basis. As I said, it's more about how often do we go out, or I mean this is specific to players, to the players that you have and the projects that you have as well, and the orgs that you're in and where you are, like in the city, all the stuff. But um, I think like often we go to restaurant, often we go do football or like practicing another activity, just go outside. So it was more about using our evenings because the first thing I mean, the first rule I had at the start of the year was we'll start from 11 and we'll finish at 10 p.m. That's 11 hours of being in the office. That's was my only rule. And then after like yeah, I improved what I've put into this schedule.
What was like an example day of that 11 hours? So everyone, yourself as well, get there at 11 o'clock, and then
Yeah,
how does it break down?
you come to have like one extra rule to this schedule. It was like because I always push my players to go to the gym, but it was not mandatory because it's not covered. Uh, it was not covered. But when it's covered, I think it should be mandatory. I mean, it's just a money things. But um, my extra rule was if you go to the gym in the morning, you can come to 11:30, and if you go to the evening, you can leave at 9 p.m. instead of 10. Um, but yeah, and I trust if they leave early or come late that they are doing their gym session. And everyone was, I mean, not we didn't have like full roster going to the gym, but people that was doing it were like really like clean about it, so no issues there. Um, but a specific day was just like 11. I mean, as I said, it changed so many times this year. So to make a average of what happened this year, it will be 11. Then at 12, 15 we'll eat. Then at 12:30 we'll do meeting. Then at 1 p.m. we will scream first block. Then during the break we'll go outside, um, eat a small snack, go to bakery. Then second block will finish around 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Then we'll like do another like small meeting that was like to review our drafts of the day. And then we'll just like do individual one-on-one. When we'll eat, we'll do one-on-ones, review lanes, and then you're like chilling for the last hour.
Cool. You mentioned before making a kind of clearer distinction between formal and informal meetings.
Yeah.
How did you do that, and how did that help?
I mean, I don't know if it's specific to myself, but for me, I'm more of an informal guy because I don't know, I prefer to be light and to be on the floor and get information, or like just speaking about light stuff and then ending up with great information. But that was my way. And then obviously, when you're going to an higher level, you need to have like this kind of traceability. So it was more like, okay, I mean, our weekly meetings were like already writing down everything was written done, and you had the traceability there, but it just like trying to mix. It was a bit of an experiment, but trying to mix as much as possible. But I think I didn't do a great job on that part. I did like almost 0 or 1. Like either I was doing only informal, either I was doing only formal. But for the future, I will do a bit of both. Like because doing only formal meetings, it's so exhausting. It's like just so exhausting. You're just like you're becoming a secretary, and you're just like writing stuff like 24/7, and yeah, you're just like your energy level is going down like so fucking fast. So but yeah, you need still to do a bit of both. So first for your like your director or like your upper management to know exactly in which direction you're going, but also for yourself, like to every evening check, okay, what's our goal for this week, remind yourself, and also to look back like 1 month ago what we were working on and what was our conclusions. And yeah, so it's for sure like you need, for me you need both, but going into one extreme is bad.
I really like that. I was talking to my wife yesterday about meetings. And I was saying I really like meetings. I like talking to people. You know,
Yeah.
hence why I'm doing this. But I do think that people need to take meetings really seriously in a way. That doesn't mean you
Yeah.
can't have fun in meetings. What I mean is that, let's say we've got 5 people here, or sometimes there's more, but let's say there's 6 of us, and we spend 10 minutes like wasting time. That's like an hour of the company's time, I think, is a better way to think about it. So you spend 20 minutes not getting anything done, 2 hours are gone. So we have to like, if we're going to have meetings, they have to be like really, we know what we're going to accomplish, and like it's all very clear. And you're right, as soon as you start doing that, you can't do that all the time. Like it becomes exhausting. And the little moments, like they're so important. That's one of the things I really missed in the LFL. The whole point was we were going to be offline, and that's one of the big reasons I kind of signed on. And then in the end, we couldn't be, and that's the part I missed the most. It's slightly better to do VOD reviews in when they can see the players and stuff, but the part that's really important is all the you're just walking, like you just meet someone walking around, and you're just like the little chats become so useful as well.
I completely agree, but I think, as you said, you need to have these formal meetings to optimizing your time 100%, and that's really something that I learned this year, like to be optimizing your meeting. And once again, I did not perfectly, but that's something I'll keep doing for sure, because you need to come prepared to the meeting. You need to know exactly what you're gonna speak about, and you need to close the meeting as fast and as soon as everything is done. So it teach you how to optimize your time 100%. So I think it's a great exercise. But as you said, second part, you need also to enjoy the human level of things, and because it's really like robotic level of it needs to be done clean, blah blah. But I enjoyed like having my little chats, like natural chats, genuine chats with my staff and my players at that time as well. And yeah, so you need to bring both for sure.
There's a fantastic podcast with Jeff Bezos, who's the CEO of
Yep.
Amazon and stuff, where he's talking about meetings. And of course, someone in that position has to be even more like careful about the meetings. And I think some of the stuff he has is really, really interesting. I don't know if it would apply to League of Legends, but he's basically saying that exact same thing that you just said. Like, in a sense, you have to take meetings very seriously, and he's like very, very structured, but also that kind of wondering where there's a like, meandering around, you know, conversationally. Amazing stuff can happen there, but you don't know it's going to happen. So it's like this balance. So they've started doing this thing where when they come to a meeting, especially meetings with the senior people, rather than having bullet points or a slideshow, the person who's presenting something has to write it out in, like we would say, prose, like proper sentences, proper writing, all that kind of thing. And then there's a printout for everybody. They come into the room, and then everyone sits down quietly and reads the whole thing, and then they discuss it, which I think is quite an interesting idea, because there's so many things where you're like, oh, to optimize our time, it'd be great if everyone had seen this thing, or if everyone had thought about this idea, so I'm going to send around some bullet points in advance. But then everyone's really busy. You know, you're in the LEC, you're competing, or in this case, you're this part of this massive company. It's just, is it worth the time to make sure we're all on the same page? And the conclusion they came to was yes. I'm not sure how exactly it would work in an esports context, because so much of what I want to do is show people stuff. I don't know how you write down like and then fake a flash over them. I don't think that really works.
Yeah, maybe not. But I heard he banned PowerPoint, I think, in his meetings or something. I heard the story. I think it's really interesting. I mean, you know, at the end of the year, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like you always come back. I mean, it's always like this curve, you know, like this learning curve. But being an expert into something is just like at the end of the day, you're just coming back to the basics and making things simple. Because you know, at the end of the day, what's important is at the start, even though you're like all the meanings of what you're saying became so deep, but the words will come back to the same ones, you know, from the basics. And I think it's something important to make things as easy and as simple as possible.
I love that. I think that's one of the main roles of the coach. There's a guy, Steve Hansen, who was the All Blacks coach for a long time, like in their most successful period. And when he was asked what is coaching, he said, making it as simple as possible. That's the one-line answer. I really, really like that. It's like the whole point is everyone should hear it and think, I can do that.
Yeah.
That's literally the point.
Completely.